DT. This is a very, very special. Every week is special with the top dog of the week, and this one is unique because it gets to be a video message top dog of the week, which is really, really cool. And I'm very excited to bring this to you for the first time ever, us doing it this way. So let's hop right into it. That's my girl Lily, top dog of the week, unveiled every single Friday, typically at the top of the hour. And I'm so, so thankful to be able to share this with you, brought to you by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding. Coming to you right here in our community of East Syracuse, Canine Camp Dog Daycare is a fantastic place to bring your dog for the day. They also have they have dog food, they have harnesses, they have leashes, they have collars, and everything that you need. I believe you can make a dog tag there, and of course you can get different things you need for your dog. Toothpaste, a toothbrush. I got Lily's toothpaste there to keep her teeth nice and clean and shiny. It's peanut butter flavor because dogs love that. So you can go and see them on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, and a Canine Campground Dog Boarding on 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, right down the road from the daycare. We have the long-term care for your dog. So if you're renovating your house or you're going out of town or things are just a little bit crazy and you have to, have the dog go somewhere for a couple of days, nobody can watch him, your friends won't, you don't trust this person or that person. Listen, I trust very few people with Lily. Canine Campground and Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chad and the fantastic staff, Lorraine and Heather and all of the fantastic staff there, I trust them with Lily. They're on a very tiny list. It's my mom and them. So, Canine Campground, thank you for all that you've done for Lily. Thank you for loving her up and letting her, hang out in your office and, play with you and hold her. And she's little, so you can put her in your pocket and walk around with her. So, thank you to Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding, who have touched my heart, given me peace when I'm out of town, and have taken care of one of the greatest treasures of my life. With that being said, the top dog is all about the people that I treasure and the people that I respect and appreciate. This week I get to honor not one but two of those coaches. Ken Niumatalolo of Navy, the Navy Midshipmen Head Coach for the football team, who's in his 13th year and just got his 100th victory. Nobody's done better with Navy than Ken Niumatalolo. And Paul Johnson, a lot of respect for him who came before. I had the opportunity to speak with Ken Niumatalolo this week, and I'm proud to share that with you. That'll be followed by my conversation with Philip Montgomery of Tulsa, who just defeated UCF at home. I respect UCF and all of the American Athletic Conference, and I had the opportunity to speak with Philip Montgomery about that and so much more. In back a few years, they defeated UCF at home. Then UCF went on to win 21 straight games at home, and now 4 years later, they're the ones that end the streak for UCF. It's poetic, it's bookends, and it's Philip Montgomery. He has worked so tirelessly to get this thing done, and in Tulsa, they've gotten close, and maybe a little bit closer. But this time, they hit that wall and they knocked it down, and they understood that no matter how many times you hit the wall and you go, well, the wall, some people look at the wall and go, the wall's still up there, but they don't understand. Every time you hit the wall, you're knocking it a little bit. You're breaking a little piece off. You're causing a little crack in it, and eventually it'll come down. And it came down this past week, and Tulsa was on the positive side of that. So, with that being stated, my top dogs of this week, Ken Niumatalolo of Navy, Philip Montgomery of Tulsa. Here's Ken Niumatalolo first.
Hey, Dan, how are you?
Doing very well. To go to that 100th career win for you, just to go into that moment, like you said, turning around Navy and what you've been able to do, bring me into that moment on the field for you and just what was going through your mind when you got to triple digits at 100.
Well, I wasn't really thinking about that. I was just hoping, that we could stop the 2-point conversion. And actually, I didn't look at it. I had my eyes closed. I was praying, and I just heard our team, our side of the bench, erupt. Then I was thinking, hopefully we can get the onside kick. And so you're always a nervous wreck. And Coach O'Rourke, who's in charge of the onside kick, we practice it weekly. And, we spend all this time on it. Sometimes, we're doing this every week, or maybe we should do it every other week. Should we do it every week? And Coach O'Rourke's always on me. Coach, we got to do hands team today. He goes, that's right, just do it. And I'm so grateful that he did it, Dan, because we were well prepared for it. So we could get that. And so those are my thoughts. But I really think about it till after to some of the questions. But the biggest thing that I said yesterday, Dan, that I come from me more than the wins are just all the calls, texts, emails from former players, coaches, or mentors, just anybody. Just that's been the coolest thing for me, just to reflect on all these players and where they're at. I mean, that to me is like, oh yeah, well, so where's he at now? And then just reminisce of different games or different experiences. It makes you realize in this profession, you try to win because it's the only way that you can stay in it. If you don't win, you get fired. I mean, it's just the truth. But I realize all the wonderful experience I've had, Dan, over the year. They're way, way more important to me than the wins. It's been awesome, the relationships and the experiences.
And when you look at, to do it for any team, you did it for Navy, you did it for something a lot bigger than just football. And you and I have spoken about that before. There has to be students, there has to be athletes, but there has to serve their country. What does that mean to you to get your 100th win and be there at Navy? And then secondly, what does it mean to represent Navy in the world we're living in right now, where, we do need a beacon of hope in these last 7 months?
Well, I don't take it lightly. I don't like talking about it because it makes it seem like I did everything. But anybody knows, and I mean, there's so many people involved, so many people, players, coaches, staff, administration. It truly is a program accomplishment. Feel very blessed to have done it here, raised my family here. My son's back here working on the staff, and he went to school here, went to elementary school here, went to middle school, Severn River, Asbury preschool, and Bodneck high school. And so this has been my home. To be able to do it at the school has been awesome. And to be at a school that people go on to serve your country after, it makes it even more special. And like I said, that was probably the coolest thing to hear from guys that are in different places and what they're doing. And they're like, wow, that's really cool that these guys are out there serving our country. They're doing well. A lot of them have gotten out. And those guys that have gotten out are living around the country, and they're all doing well too. And those are the things I would say that any coach would say that. Just your former players, the people they become, those are really your true wins. Those are your true victories. To see the young men, who they become in life, fathers, husbands, productive citizens in our country. It makes it special being here, Dan, with all that.
And then lastly, just to kind of switch gears a little bit, in Hawaii, just seeing the recruitment, I know that you have eyes and ears down there, but teams around the country are doing that. Some teams that typically don't recruit there are reaching out there. Now, what does that mean to you, the talent that's there and your connection, obviously, to the island, and what that means for college football and for professional football, that there is that bridge and that more people are starting to notice it?
Well, football has always been a big deal in the islands. I mean, they love football. High school football is huge. Youth football is huge. Obviously got the University of Hawaii there. So it's really cool that guys can be able to branch out. They're not just on the West Coast now at Pac-12 schools. They've branched out throughout the country. Guys are doing well all over. So it's really cool to see that, and hopefully that continues.
Thanks, Coach, and congratulations on everything. You deserve it.
Thanks, Ben.
That coming here from Ken Niumatalolo inside of the Top Dog of the Week honor that we have every single week in hour number 2 here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Friday, brought to you by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Campground Dog Boarding. The first half of the Top Dog of the Week this week going to Ken Niumatalolo of Navy following his 100th win. And before we go to the second one, we got to get a Lily bark for Philip Montgomery. And with that being said, here's my conversation with the Tulsa Golden Hurricane head coach, Philip Montgomery, honoring him coming off of ending one of the longest streaks in the nation for college football of home wins, defeating UCF at UCF, something that they did years ago, and they did it again. They did it when right before the streak started, and then they ended the streak. They are the bookends of it. They fought tough against Oklahoma State, holding them to 16 points with plenty of tackles for a loss in that game. And they're a team that's hung with the best of them. They've hung with the top teams inside of the American, and they've hung with a very tough non-conference schedule, and they continue to challenge themselves with that. They don't shy away from anybody, and I respect that. And I know that hitting that wall, like I said, it looks like nothing's happening. From that view that some people take, the wall is still there. It hasn't moved, but you see it. You see that little crack. You see that little chip. You see that piece fall off. You see the foundation start to move a little bit. You know that wall's coming down. And Philip Montgomery has gone after it to knock that wall down, and I respect him for that. I respect him for his work, and I respect Tulsa, the University of Tulsa, for giving him an opportunity to grow this program. Here he is.
Coach, you don't shy away from the non-conference schedule. It seems like Oklahoma State and whatnot. What can you say about what you took away from that game and defensively, what you were able to bring forward? And then obviously coming off of the win against UCF in and out of the conference, Tulsa doesn't shy away from the competition, and that's got to obviously make this team a little bit better, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. Hey, Dan, how are you? Good to see you.
Well.
Good seeing you well. I think, our schedule, we've always scheduled tough games. That's been part of us and our program. I think our guys enjoy continuing to raise the level of competition that you're going against every week. That being said, our conference from top to bottom, I think, is extremely difficult. And so you're playing that game back and forth of, what conference games are going to be about. There are battles every week. When you start playing very tough non-conference games, it puts a lot of pressure on you as a program. And so I think our guys understand what we do and how we do it. I think it helps us. I think our defense, obviously, there were some question marks probably coming into the season, having to replace Travis, having to replace Reggie, having to replace Cooper and several others. Those guys going out and doing what they did the first week just gave them a ton of confidence. And, they're playing with that right now. We've got to continue to do that and create turnovers and get people behind the sticks. And I think that's been a huge lift for us defensively after game one.
And you talked about – I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I was going to say, you talked about, rankings and playing against teams that are in the, top 10, top 11 and whatnot. For the rankings this year, it's been kind of interesting that UCF was 11 and then they lose to you. They get dropped out of the top 25. And we see teams that aren't even playing football that are not only in the rankings but rising in them. How strange is that as a coach to see the top 25 have teams moving up the rankings that aren't even playing, and then having American Athletic drop out of it when they lose to a good team, in my opinion, of Tulsa?
Yeah, I don't really understand how Central Florida drops all the way out after being number 11. And I'm going to base that on our body of work versus Oklahoma State, who is now, I don't know what they are. What are they, 6, 4, 6? All right, so they're 6th. To be real honest, Dan, I feel like that's a little bit of a slap at us, saying they lost to us instead of, seeing us for the team that I hope that we are right now. And in my opinion, Central Florida still should be in the top 25, and teams that haven't played games at this point, let's wait until they play a game and base what you get off of the results they get in those games. I've never been a huge fan of the early ranking parts of it because you just don't know what teams are going to be about until you get a couple of games underneath your belt. So they didn't ask my opinion, though, but that would be my opinion.
Thank you. Coach, going off of what you just said there, being in a lot of these games in and out of conference, but not closing it out at the end, what can you say about closing the gap and some of those pieces that maybe are coming together that you're seeing that the record didn't adequately show the last couple of years, but points you're starting to get to, maybe even looking back at the UCF game and seeing some of those elements that weren't there before happening now so that you can close out these games against teams that are ranked in the top 25 and obviously strong inside of the conference?
I think more than anything, it's about going out in the field and getting it done. And, that comes with confidence and momentum and guys just locked in and not knowing, you don't know when that play is going to be. The drive before half was such a crucial drive for us in that game. And that kind of opened the doors to kind of what happened in the second half. It's not always going to be on that last drive or the last play. And so for us, it's about recognizing opportunities to go make big plays. And when we have them, we got to secure that. And I think, as a team, we understand that it does take all three phases. The other, last week or week and a half, whatever, in the Central Florida game, it was all three-phase win for us. Every phase contributed. Every phase was an important part of it, and guys just stepping up and making plays when they had opportunity.
That coming once again from Philip Montgomery of the Tulsa Golden Hurricane, with my opportunity to speak with him after the team went in to UCF, one of the toughest places to play, the bounce house, love it out there, and got that victory. Tulsa doing their thing, played a couple games this season, and were able to get the best of UCF. Played a very tight game with Oklahoma State, who's ranked in the nation's top 10, held them to only 16 points in the game. I actually want to go back to that really quick here to take a look at that statistically, because Oklahoma State didn't look good by any stretch of the imagination. Kudos to Tulsa for what they did in that game to push them. And, and again, they don't shy away from these games against Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, playing whoever they need to play out of conference. And so when people say, oh, the American Athletic doesn't have a tough conference schedule, that's insane. And then to say that, they don't go up against the best of the best out of conference, that's also insane. And I actually wrote an article about it to show all the games that are coming up. Oklahoma State is ranked 7th currently in the AP and 7th in the coaches poll, just to give you a little feel for that. They are 3-0. They played West Virginia, beat West Virginia 27-13, beat Kansas, both of these teams in the Big 12, beat Kansas 47-7, only defeated Tulsa 16-7 in the matchup, which, again, is very important to take a look at. So, when you put it down here, Tulsa got over 100 yards against Oklahoma State on the ground, got over 100 yards through the air as well. They ran more than they threw. Kendaren Ray had 11 tackles, all of them solo tackles, hurried the quarterback once. They had 6 sacks and 14 tackles for a loss against Oklahoma State in this game. They also intercepted Oklahoma State, so that's something big to note as well. And they recovered a fumble. So, they caused turnovers, they created opportunities, their defense played very, very strong. The offense just couldn't get it going. But again, yet another game where Tulsa doesn't come out with the victory, but you have to look at hitting the wall and causing the cracks and starting to break it down. And then they played up against UCF and got a big crack of that wall out, and now they continue to move forward. And so I appreciate them, and I thank them, Philip Montgomery, for all that you do, Ken Niumatalolo, for all that you do for Navy. You are my top dogs of the week, and I couldn't be prouder to speak with you both and have you both in my life. I appreciate you, and I respect